place bets?
I just clicked go live. So let's see
Okay.
if it actually works. It's acting a little bit crazy.
It looks like it. It says live on Facebook on my end.
Says it there. We're live right now. Okay, so let me do the intros and then you can become famous.
Okay, thank you.
Facebook people, come on in, have a seat, sit close together. Nothing goes viral. And trust me, nothing will go viral with that has anything to do with me. Welcome to Comic Spot. I am known as the girl that interviewed Sinbad. That's what my legacy is. You know, it's more like, how did you get to interview Sinbad? You know, it's nothing to brag about. Do you know how hard? It's impossible to make Sinbad look bad.
Sinbad look bad. Nice.
People are like, he did so good. What about me? Didn't I make him? Oh yeah, he always looks good. Never mind. So this whole Comic Spot thingamajiggy started so that this Army veteran, me, could vet out comedy veterans like Jacqui Pirl, who's here in the other box. And before we let her become famous by talking, which is what all us comics want to be, is famous every time we open our mouth, me included.
Yeah.
Look at me, look at me, look at me. Anyway, let me read you her intro. I'm acting silly because I haven't eaten enough. So we already decided we liked each other. You guys just join in. So here is the intro Jacqui Pirl gave to me. In her words, I quote, "After living in Hawaii for more than half her life, Jacqui Pirl moved to Sacramento."
I know. There's the laugh break right there. What were you thinking? Go ahead.
And began her stand-up career at the ripe young age of 52. Due to her inability to function in the early morning hours, she's been known to pack her children's lunches with panties and cans of malt liquor. Known as the Blonde Flamingo, she enjoys all things pink, vacations on tropical islands, blues harmonica, and singing the wrong lyrics to popular love songs. And like Tyrion Lannister, she drinks, she knows stuff, and she secretly wishes she were taller. Now that we outed her with that, welcome to the stage, the one and only Jacqui Pirl.
Thank you, love. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here.
I am too. Thanks, Tom Baum, for suggesting it.
Tom is the bomb. I love him. What a great guy.
He's one of my best friends. His mother is actually one of my best friends.
No way. How'd you meet her?
Well, weird story. That was not an open-ended question. That's a closed-ended question. I've known Tom for a long time, and he's just like, he's 20 years younger than me. I just had a COVID birthday. I just turned 55. So, you know, I'm of that.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. It was huge. It was huge. My birthday was bigger than Obama's inauguration. It was me and my cat. We were in lockdown. But no, I adore Tom, and his mother happens to be a really big fan of Lily Tomlin.
Wow.
You know who she is.
I do.
Right? I tell that to an audience at UC Davis, and they're like, who? What? Huh? You know? And I tell, look, my mother woke me up for the actual moon landing. I mean, that's how old I was. I was 4, you know? I was there. We watched it on a black and white TV with rabbit ears and tinfoil off of it. You know, it was a big deal. And they're like, I don't know. Is the earth flat? But whatever. So Tom Baum's mom, which I love saying, wanted to go see Lily Tomlin on her birthday. That's really all she wanted to do. She wanted to go see Tom Baum's mom, or she wanted to go see Lily Tomlin. So
Yes.
he came from Vegas, picked me up, and we drove down to San Jose. And she was playing at San Jose State, the theater there. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's gorgeous. It's like a 4,000 person theater, very intimate, but big. And she's 83 years old. She did a 2-hour one-woman show. She did all of her characters. You know, the little girl in the rocking chair, like the
Yes.
operator.
Yeah.
She did
Yeah.
all of it. It was amazing. But when we first walked into the theater, there was like a big, you know, when you go to Costco and you're hungry and you're by yourself and you buy that big bucket of cheese balls. So there were a bunch of those cheese ball like looking containers and index cards, and you could write a message on there and put it inside. And she was going to take Q&As after. So me being a newer comic, I'm writing 32 cards. You know, I'm just like, what do you think of this? What would you do this? What is it? I'm stuffing them in. So after this 2-hour one-woman show,
Yeah.
she goes to the cheese bucket and she pulls out my card. First one. And it was, how do you stay in such great shape? Because she just did. I mean, she's amazing. And she answered it. And we walked outside the theater. And like I said, I was with Tom Baum, Tom Baum's mom, and Tom Baum's mom's mom. And a bunch of aunts and uncles and neighbors. So it's me, Tom, and a bunch of like ladies our age. And I walked up to the manager and I said, you did a great job. That was awesome. I said, I have a favor to ask. And he's like, And I said, look, the first card she pulled out was my card. Could you just, I don't want to bother her, but could you just ask her to sign it? You know, it's still on the stage. You did a great job. And he goes, she's got a car waiting. You know, I don't know if we can do that. And I said, I get it. But could you just ask? And he goes, all right. So he goes marching off over the theater, down the stairs, and he disappears. He comes back up about what seemed like an hour later, but was probably like 3 minutes later. No card. And I'm like, and I walked up to him. I actually went to him and I said, it's fine. Thank you for asking. I totally appreciate it. I get it. She's a busy person. We'll be on our way. Thank you so much. And he grabs my arm and he goes, no, she wants to see you in her dressing room. And I'm like, oh my God. And then he looks around. And like I said, it's Tom Baum, Tom Baum's mom, Tom Baum's mom's mom, and like 16 other people. And he's like, are all these people with you? And I'm like, no. And this is the first time I'd ever person to person met Tom Baum's mom. And I go, no. It's her birthday. She's the one. It was her idea to come here. She has to come with me. And this is Tom Baum. He's a comic from Las Vegas. He drove to Sacramento to pick me up. I'm a comic too. And I'm just like freaking out, like the words I can't like, and he goes, okay, the three of you, come on. And we got to spend like, I think it must've been somewhere between 17 minutes and 36 seconds and 18 minutes and 10 seconds in her dressing room with her. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
What did you talk to her about?
Oh, was that was not a close-end question. You ready? So here's the deal. I lived in Honolulu for 33 years. Okay. I was married for 25. Wonderful man. At about year 23, he's a pharmacist. I found out that he was prescribing himself an awful lot more Xanax, OxyContin, and strippers than I was comfortable with. Which kind of explains his behavior from the last 2 years before that, because I'm a woman, I forgave that and just thought it was me. But okay, right? So yeah. I finally got the balls up to divorce him, and I moved from Honolulu to Sacramento. And yeah, I know, like, because my life did not suck enough, basically. So just fucking blow it up, right? What happened, my son had just gotten into UCLA and I was paying out-of-state tuition, which was $52,000 a year. Whoa. And if I moved to California, it went to $12,000 a year in 6 months.
Oh, it's a no-brainer.
It's a residency, right? Like that's enough to live on for 4 years of that. And since he was 18, the courts couldn't make my husband pay any of that, whatever. So anyway, some fucked up story. Can I swear on this still?
Well, fuck might be pushing it a bit, but I have said it.
I love you. So darn it, I moved to California. And I knew one person here, my best friend from college, who was from Hawaii. Her husband and her kids had moved here about 10 years before I did. And she's just like, come here, you can figure out what you need to be in California, but you can figure it out, whatever. And I literally spent the first 2 months in her living room crying because my life was a mess and I was a basket case. And then after a while, you kind of go, this is your best friend and you really kind of like her. So don't burn all the bridges. Go cry in your room by yourself. So I spent the next like 3 months, like I had a 15-year-old kid. I spent the next 3 months crying in my room, like not moving. And my mother called me and she said, you're a mess. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm fine. And she said, you need to watch. She said, you need to watch Frankie and Grace, Grace and Frankie. What, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. And I said, all right. So I turned on the TV and I pulled it up on Netflix. And the very first scene, you've seen it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So these two women who hate each other are married to these two law partners who are very close somehow. And they invite them out to dinner. I'm not giving anything away. This is not a spoiler alert because anybody who's going to see this is going to see this in the first 5 minutes. And they're sitting there and Lily Tomlin is with Jane Fonda and they're just, oh my God, they can't stand each other, but they're trying. And what do you think the guys are going to do? And they've been in law together for 40 years. And the boys come in, the men, sorry, they come in and they sit down and they tell their respective wives that they're divorcing them because the two of them are lovers. And they've been lovers for like the last 30 years of this whole thing. And now they want to get married. And I just looked at that screen and I said, my life does not suck that much. And I said, I need, I love comedy. I've always loved, and I need to go out and start seeing comedy. I never thought I'd do it, but I need to go out and just laugh. I love that. I've always been drawn to that. And so the question, I can get back to that. That's what I told Lily Tomlin in her dressing room.
Oh, that's so great. What did she have to say in response?
She cried. We both cried. She hugged me. She said, actually what she said is she said, you remind me of one of my best friends. And I said, I can do that. I said, yes, I can be one of your best friends. It was such a beaut. So that is what we talked about in her dressing room. I got to tell her why I started comedy. And it was because of her and my mom. And I was there because of Tom Baum and Tom Baum's mom and Tom Baum's mom's mom. So there you go.
Did Tom Baum even get a word in edgewise?
He is such a gentleman. I mean, he really is. He's such a, so while I was like, and then I moved and then him and his mom just kind of stood there. And then when I was done and we were done hugging, they kind of went, hey. And I was like, oh my God, that was so cool. And they're like, that was pretty fucking cool. Pretty damn cool. Yeah.
Well, did he get to say anything so she could hear?
Yeah, but I have no idea. Yes. And I have video of it. He's got video of it. We've got pictures of it. She did sign my card. I've got it framed in my bedroom. And I'm sure if you ask him, he could tell you what he said, but I just kind of went, and then we hugged and I cried and she cried. And then Tom and his mom talked and I was just like, oh my God.
Okay.
So I don't know what they said. I have no idea.
So where did you grow up? When were you first funny? And when was the first time you went on stage? What was it like? So grow up, first time funny, first time on stage.
Okay, I grew up in Mankato, Minnesota, don't you know?
Oh,
yeah, sure, you betcha. Yeah, a little small town. We don't have much going for us, but you know, it's a nice town. There's some nice people there. And I kind of expected I'd graduate high school and get married and pop out a couple kids and work in an office and live there for the rest of my life. But that's not me. So the second I turned, I actually went to the University of Minnesota, and I found out my first semester there that I could do an exchange, a national exchange program to the University of Hawaii.
Whoa.
Like, I don't know who the idiot who went to Hawaii to Minnesota for that semester was. But no, I went to Hawaii.
I don't want to do that.
Right? Like, are you kidding me? And it was the dead of winter. And I got off the plane, complete culture shock. Just complete, like, literally what happened was I got off the plane, and it was 1984. So it was in the height of the Japanese buying cycle in Hawaii. The street signs were in Hawaiian, English, and Japanese. I got off the plane and I'm like, did I accidentally land in Tokyo? Like, I don't know where I am. Like, complete culture shock. I was, yeah, it really was. And I was there for 2 weeks. I called my dad. I said, sell my skis, sell my parka, sell my car, sell my motorcycle. I am never coming home. And if you want to visit me, I will be here. And I stayed for 33 years. Yeah, I went to college there. I had to drop out for a year because I couldn't afford out-of-state tuition, and I needed to work for a year to get in-state. God, that kind of, I never thought of that. That's kind of a theme of my life. Wow, in-state tuition. Here's Jacqui Pirl following in-state tuition all around the world. But
so then you go from Hawaii to Sacramento to do comedy. Do you know that Sacramento comics are the strongest comics I think we have in America?
They have won the 4 last NBC last comic standing or whatever it was. Yeah, no, they're amazing. I didn't come here to do comedy. I'm not a comic. I'm a writer. I majored in journalism. I have always written. And I used to write a lot of like corporate speeches and stuff. You know, you get paid some bucks to do that. And you hand this dude a speech, and then he gets up there and messes the whole thing up. And it's like, no, yes, those are what the words said, but you don't just like, and I'm like, oh my God. So after
that's how God feels when he gives us a child.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Manual, please give us an instruction. But
the 10 Commandments aren't enough.
Oh God, that's funny because I'm staring right here at Christopher Hitchens' book. God is not, what is it called? God is not great. It's funny. It's staring at me. Anyway,
do you know how hard it is to just become a comic? But you go to the place that's the mega center for strong comics,
which was my saving grace. And I will tell you this too, is because there are a lot of female comics here, and the female comics in the scene don't take shit.
Good.
And they stick together. Like, we have barbecues. We go to each other's graduations. Like, I mean, it's crazy. It's insane. I feel like I have a family. And so I went to Lily. I saw Lily Tomlin, Frankie and Grace, and I started going out to Punchline, Laughs Unlimited, you know, Luna's, Blacktop, you know, all these comedy places. And I just started watching. And somebody said you should go to an open mic. And I went to an open mic, and, you know, open mics.
Yeah.
And I saw some really fabulous people. And then I saw some people like, I was like, I could probably be funnier than that in my sleep. Like, it might have been their first time, but you know what I mean? It was like, this is not a show. And maybe they were, I don't know who they were because I didn't know anybody back then. Maybe they were great comics and they were just trying out fresh stuff, but I didn't understand how open mics went. Right. And I was like, I got to do this. I'm going to get up there and do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. but I didn't do it because I'm scared and I was a shell and I was just broken and I didn't do it. And then I saw, and all the comics can laugh at this, but then I saw something about a comedy like class. And I was like, I know that's not a good idea, but if I pay my $25 and sign up, I know I will go there and I will at least get on a mic. Like if I sign up for something, I'll do it. If I could end up going to mics for the rest of my life and never get up.
Yeah.
So I did, and I took a class, and at the end of the class, we had a showcase at Blacktop in Rockland. There were 157 people in the audience.
Wow.
That was my first time on stage. And they laughed at me, and they applauded me, and they gave me validation. And I was just like, are you kidding me? So then I went home back to my bedroom and I cried for another like 6 months. And then I went, stop it. And that's when I went out and started doing open mics.
Wonderful. I agree with you about the value of an open mic. And I know there's scuttlebutt about going to classes, but
Yeah.
I've done both. And my opinion about an open mic, God bless everybody that can benefit from them. But to me, it's like bowling blindfolded.
Okay.
You know, and like, did it go down the aisle? Did it make a strike? Why did it make a strike? Why did it not?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
hard for me. That's hard for me.
I kind of think of open mics as like talking to yourself.
Thank you. And that's where the value is.
Yeah. So if you record it, you go,
Yeah.
oh, that didn't sound quite right. It sounded right in my head, but when I said it, or you go, oh, that was good. Keep that in. That was just an ad lib. Keep that in. But you can't judge how you're doing on an open mic by the crowd.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I agree with 100%.
And then there's the whole division among comics about she's going to classes, you know, they're natural. Like there is no right or wrong path in this business.
No.
And it's not that you're going to a class for a shortcut. In fact, it's a long cut. A shortcut is not going to a class.
Yes.
So, yeah. I couldn't do it without classes. I couldn't.
And you've taken a lot of classes?
I took Jerry Corley's e-course. It's called Breaking Comedy DNA. And it helped me to figure out what the hell. But the problem is he teaches you how to write 30 jokes a day. But I have like OCD. So that did, I was writing 80. If I was like sad or depressed or crying in my room, I was writing 100 jokes a day.
Right.
And he didn't cover how to put together a comedy set. So I didn't know what the hell to do with all these papers.
Do you still have them?
Yes, I threw out 38 pounds of really bad stuff. I went through it.
You actually threw it out?
38 pounds. Well, actually 43 pounds. Yep.
I would have typed it up all on one giant screen and just
kept it.
Because I'm a writer. I've written books before. If you look me up on Amazon, I've got books published. And sometimes I have something that I just love. And I'll type it out and it's going to go in the dialogue or in the setting or in the scene. And then I go, that doesn't go there. But I don't throw it away. I put it in this throwaway thing. And oftentimes that is a key to some other story.
Absolutely.
But it didn't belong there.
But I have a copy of a virtual copy, but the paper copies I tossed.
Okay. Yep. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. It was a relief too. When you rid yourself of extra burden like that, I had to carry it every time I moved. I moved more times than a pack rat that I am. Every time I move, when you throw it away, all of a sudden flooding of new comedy came to me. Even though I had a virtual, but all that 43 pounds.
Interesting.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was really
weird. It's not weird. It's the lightening things up. Like, do you play video games at all?
Yes.
So you can only carry 50 pounds or whatever it is. in your video game. But if you get rid of 30 of it, you've got room for more stuff.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So what's going to happen to Jacqui Pirl because of the pandemic? What changes have you made in your life and in your comedy?
Well, I started doing Zoom comedy, which is crazy. I mean, I was against it at first, as I think we all were. It's not live comedy. It's not stand up. We're not in front of an audience, blah, 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 blah. And finally, I just went, you know what? I'm not doing anything else comedy wise. I'm writing, but I'm not performing. I might as well just do it. And since I've done it, you know, I have done mics in Australia, Ireland, New York, Japan, San Antonio. I mean, these are places that I would have to be doing comedy like on a Robin Williams or Joe Coy level to like actually go, like be invited in the room. And so I've met comics all over and I like it. And I think it's not stand up. It's more of a workshop. It's more of a networking, but I hope that there is still some Zoom even after things open up, because it is a really powerful tool to, like, I wouldn't have met you.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
I know, like a lot of comics they think that, oh, you know, it's beneath them to do Zoom. And in the meantime, we're picking up skills, we're picking up fans, we're picking up networking that they're not.
Contacts. Just, yeah, exactly. And I've gotten paid for some of this. You know, you put your Venmo up there, some lonely guy in Detroit is going to send you $10 or something. I don't care. I'll take it. But, you know, one of the best things is I did a mic in like Zoom in San Antonio, and this gal who's married got 3 kids, and I do a lot of like real life. I'm kind of an observational comic, and she hit me up. She said that just really touched me. She goes, I've been married for 15 years and I've got 3 kids. And she goes, that was awesome. And she sent me $15.
That's great. Oh,
and I was just like, this is not a person who's trying to hit on me. You know, she doesn't want to see me naked. That was a condition.
She's not even from Detroit, for God's sake.
Thank God.
Is that why you changed your Venmo to say lonely woman in Detroit 400?
What would be a catfish in Nigeria? I don't know what what would be the best Venmo? I'm not sure.
I know. You'll be glad you did.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to donate to that?
Yeah, indeed. Give me all the cash. I'm curious, how do you know Tom?
Well, I went to comedy here and ran across him, and he took a liking to me or my comedy, you know, like I'm just the old lady that fumbles through life. And
me too.
You know? Yeah. And so I was talking to him at a mic, and then I started doing these, and of course I wanted to invite him on, and he came on, and then he thought it was so much fun, he wanted to tell his other friends. So he really opened up a lot of Vegas doors as far as interviewing Vegas people for me, and I'm really thankful for that.
That's how he is. I mean, that is who he is. He either believes in you or he leaves you alone. And when he believes in you, he will go to bat for you. Yeah.
I know people that believe in other comics, and when they come off stage, give them a lot of content, you know, to help them with their comedy. And then they'll look at me and go, you know, and I'll go up to them and say, hello, I want your feedback too. And they're like, nothing came to my mind. I'm like, no, you just told me you can't stand me, but thanks. I'm 69 years old. I'm not stupid.
Oh my God, you look fabulous for Jesus. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, thank you.
You've got like kind of a Marilyn Monroe thing going. Like,
thank you.
You really do. Wow. Oh, hashtag goals.
I just like being who I am, you know, and the thing is, Jacqui, I don't mind getting older. I don't mind that I'm going to die before a lot of people. I don't, that doesn't, the only thing that bothers me about getting older is you're going to what? You're going to ignore me because I'm old? Oh, no, you're not. Oh, step back. I'll do
Right?
anything to get attention. I would. I need it.
Yeah.
I want it. A blonde hair, brand new teeth, and they come out at night.
Nice.
Hooker heels, prom gowns. I don't
Fuck
give
yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
attention. Give me attention. Do you
Yes.
understand?
And I think
Nerd.
when you reach a, because women, you know, you do this thing and it's, oh, young lady, and or young girl, and then it's like young lady, and then it's like, woo, hot 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old. And then I think you get to a point where it's like, you know what? And I feel like I'm almost there, but I'm like, I'm 55. I've got something to tell you. You better listen to me.
You are too gonna listen. I'm gonna find, if you don't listen, I'm gonna get to know you, and I'm gonna find out why you're not listening, and I'll find a way to make you listen.
Yes. Yeah.
I went out in the streets of Philadelphia interviewing millennials, and I said, when you look at me, what's the first thing you think? Well,
What they say?
We think that you look like a grandmother. I go, okay. What do you want me to say when I go? What do you think I'm gonna say? You're gonna talk about, your past. Okay, what don't you want me to say? We don't want you to put us down. What do you want me to say? We want you to let us know that you're trying to keep up with us, not compete with us, but you try to enter into the world and understand us. And
interesting.
Not so I made a whole bit about that. All those things.
That is really interesting, though. They don't want you. They want you to try to keep up.
Yep. So I got a whole bit on how I'm trying to be woke, hip, dope, and a little AF.
And a little AF. I love it. I love it.
Just a little.
Oh my God.
As they say in Minnesota, just a scotch.
Just a scotch, don't you know? Yeah, sure, you betcha. That's
North Dakota
great.
too. So you're from Mankato, Minnesota, and I married a guy from Jackson, Minnesota, which is close to Mankato, is it not?
I actually don't know. I'm guessing it's a small rural town.
Is Mankato southwest? Minnesota?
Mankato is dead south.
And on the west, close to North Dakota, South Dakota?
No, it's pretty much center. It's kind of right, maybe 100 miles from Iowa.
Okay, wrong place. Well, he was south, very close to the border, but west. So Mankato would have been east.
Waseca.
What?
What does Waseca, Minnesota sound familiar? No. Okay, I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll let you know, but I'll look it up after we get off. Jackson.
Yeah. Never met any from Minnesota I didn't like, except my ex. As it turns out. Oops.
I hear you there. Yeah. How long were you married?
7 years of bad luck.
Woo.
I mean, the first year was great. I'm not gonna lie.
It always
the honeymoon, but then it was all freaking downhill like a trip.
Yeah.
Like a ride at the beach.
Yep, I hear you.
How many years were you married, Jacqui?
I was married for 25 years.
Wow. How many of them were good? Are you allowed to say?
I would say that 19 of them were fabulous.
Good.
The next 2 were kind of rocky, and then the rest of them sucked big giant donkey balls.
Yes, absolutely. Ugh.
So
it was either homicide, suicide, or divorce at the end. So
it was.
I did good.
Yes, mine too. And each one, I have 3 kids. They are 21, 23, and 26. And all 3 of them at different times has said, because they grew up with a dad who was involved and very loving and very, like I said, he really was a pharmacist, and a little bit of candy and brain change. But and at all different times, the three of them have all said, "Why didn't you leave him sooner?" So yeah, but I'm glad I didn't, because they got to grow up, and it was hard to leave. It's always hard to leave. But 25 years, I thought it was good. My parents just celebrated their 56th wedding anniversary, and they actually still like each other.
Oh, that's crazy.
Isn't that insane? Like, they actually,
That's
like,
abnormal.
even talk to them. I know, they're crazy. That's completely abnormal, but I thought I was going to be them. So, yeah, what's wrong with you? You need therapy. How can you like someone? Yeah. After 56 years? Are you crazy? Well, a lot of people don't even live that long, and you still like the person you're sleeping in a bed with? What? Yeah, it's crazy.
You're hilarious. It's hilarious. I've been online for almost an hour, and I'm very limited on T-Mobile hotspot. But now that you've graduated like Sinbad did from the comics,
tell me about that. I'm dying. I was going to ask you. Tell me, how did you get to...
Thank you for not putting the emphasis on you, because most people say, how did you get Sinbad on your show? Thank you for just saying, how did you do that? So I knew him on Twitter and MySpace, talking to him publicly. He put out a post, I'd make a reply, he'd reply back publicly, right?
What year is this, just to get some context?
Twitter or MySpace started, one of them started in 2003. So as early as 2003, I talked many times to Kirstie Alley, Sinbad.
Kirstie Alley, cheers. Okay.
Yeah, I've talked to them. I was in a contest. I won a contest that Kirstie Alley had, coming up with shit, and I sent material to these people and made them laugh.
Okay.
So when I started, I was interviewing comedians at Harvey's Comedy Club in Portland, Oregon on a podcast I did.
Heard of it.
With a young millennial, which didn't work out in the long run, but so what? So we were doing 37 entertainers that came through, headliners and features, right?
Okay.
So then I moved, and that stopped. And I got here, and I was like, do I run a mic? Do I teach a class? How do I fit in a new city?
Right.
And then fortunately the shutdown happened. And so I was like, Zoom, what's Zoom? And then let me go talk to somebody. So I talked to any old comic. I'll have to go back and see who the first person was I got.
I'll go look it up. I'll look at all your stuff. Yeah.
And so the first time I'm on there with somebody, I'm realizing, oh my God, they're so depressed and sad and so confused about the world. And maybe while I'm home, maybe I should just be contacting comics and see what they're doing and see if they can make me laugh, if I can make them laugh, if we can make other people laugh. Maybe this is what I'm meant to do right now. And
that is beautiful that it came from that place.
Exactly where it came from. I wanted to check in on people. I'm like Gladys Kravitz.
Not Lenny Kravitz, but Gladys Kravitz.
Yeah.
If you were like Lenny Kravitz, trust me, I would not lose your number. No.
I would fight you for Lenny Kravitz.
Woo! Okay, it's on. Twitter him that. Hey, tweet him that. Lenny, we're gonna fight for you.
We should have a dating game where you and I try to vie for his love.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. The problem is I'm also madly in love with his ex-wife's husband,
Who's
Jason
that?
Momoa.
I don't know who that is.
Isn't Jason Momoa married to his ex-wife?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I don't know either. I'm pretending.
I know Lisa Bonet.
Yes. Isn't she married to Jason Momoa?
Maybe. Is that a football player? Sounds like a football player.
Oh, no. He's a god. He's just yeah, well, okay, but go ahead. So anyway,
that's so I start doing these checking in with people things, and they're funny. It cheers me up, and they tell every one of them is telling me, "You cheered me up today. Do you know how much?" And I'm like, I can't stop. And now I'm paying
no,
like 1200 a month, all in every month to make this happen. And people are coming out of the woodwork. Like, here's some people here. Interview this guy, and it's growing. Just because I
I
want to make sure.
I will tell you, I feel better talking to you already. I was going to be home alone with my cat and some pot roast and mashed potatoes and gravy and probably some cheesecake and maybe a bowl of cereal after that. So
Wow.
that's
So
not healthy. But
so I wrote to Sinbad and I said, "Do you remember me from 2003?" And I told him my Twitter handle and my MySpace, and he goes, "I do." And I
he
go,
did.
"He remembered me." And so I said, "Well, I'm doing these little thingamajigs. It wasn't even a podcast. I didn't even call it a show. I just said I'm interviewing. And he goes, "Let's make it happen."
Damn.
It wasn't even hard. It was not hard.
So have you reached out to a lot of other people?
Hell to the yes.
Hell to the yes. Okay.
Anybody I've ever met, I make damn sure when I meet somebody, they're not going to forget me. I'm telling you. And
Excellent.
my dog introduced me to Robert De Niro. Do you think he's going to forget that? No, I made sure.
Wait, what? Your dog introduced you to did he pee on him?
No, my dog was a beagle and had a mind of its own.
I had a beagle for 14 years.
I had one too for 15.
I just had to put her to sleep May 11th of last year. She had bladder cancer.
So sorry. Mine
are so awesome.
They're the best. Get me one. Let's go to the beagle thing and get beagles.
I knew I loved you. Okay, so what was your beagle's name?
Murphy, because of the law.
Nice. Okay. So your beagle introduced you to Robert De Niro.
Yeah, so I'm walking in the Central Park, and my beagle has a mind of its own and decides.
As they do.
Yeah, and he decides that's the dog he needs to go to. So he pulls me. I cannot keep up with him. Pulls me to a leash, and at the other end of the leash is Robert De Niro. So I literally bum rushed up into Robert De Niro one night in the dark. Do you think he's gonna forget that?
What did he say to you?
Pretty much non-verbally, stay back. But he's got to remember it.
So did you hit him up?
No.
Why? Immediately when we get off, go say, "Do you remember that night in Central Park? My beagle," just tell him that. You're going to get an interview with Robert De Niro. Sinbad's going to be forgotten. Sorry, I love
Sinbad. Who? I'll never forget Sinbad. That was such a great interview he gave me. Oh my God.
Is it still online?
Yes.
Okay.
It's right in there. Easy to find on my Spotify, which is called Comic Spot.
Comic Spot. Okay, I'm going to
go. If you don't find it, I'll send you the link. Hey,
it's the link, but I'll go try. Yeah.
Tell me, where can we help promote you online?
So you're asking for my Venmo and PayPal? No.
Yes, you can. If people want to donate to you, sure.
I am Jacqui Pirl all across media. So, and it real, like I said, I am the only one out there. It's JACQUI, and Pearl is like girl with a P. It's PIRL. And that's where I am wherever you look me up.
Wonderful. So have you thought of changing your name to Virl so it can be girl with a V?
No, I have. But my daughter does have the Instagram Pearl Girl, and I was so mad that she got that. And I tried to buy it off my own daughter. She's like, "Oh no, that's mine. I got more followers than you do, Mom."
Oh my gosh. So follow you anywhere on the internet by Jacqui Pirl.
JACQUIPIRL. Yep. That's where you can find
Are you doing any podcasts?
I've been doing a lot of other people's podcasts. I don't have my own. I probably should, because I majored in journalism. I love to give interviews and I like to talk, but stand up is my love, and I just keep hoping that'll come back, you know.
Me too.
It's gonna be April or June next year before I think it really does. Which is, but and the other thing is I write. So when we're not doing stand up, I'm working on an historical novel, and I've got characters in my head. It's stand up and writing are the only two things I think you can do where you can actually have fights with your voices in your head and not be literally insane.
Totally, I get that.
Yeah.
We all get that. And we never quite reach a pinnacle of like having arrived. It's always this project and the next.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's like breathing.
Well, I need the next project to look forward to, you know?
Yes.
I do. Yeah.
You've been a doll. I want you back on anytime.
It was a
anything.
pleasure meeting you. And I knew the second Tom Baum threw your name out there, I was like, oh, all right. Tom Baum could hand me a handful of drugs I've never done. And I'd go, really? And he'd go, yeah, I don't do drugs. He'd be like, just take them. I'd go, okay.
I trust you.
He's never led me wrong. So when he threw my name out to you, I was like, this is going to be good. I'm going to like this gal. And I get to Vegas. Shh, don't tell anybody, but I've been to Vegas 4 times since the quarantine.
Cool. Awesome.
And I stay with Tom and Ashley every time I go.
Well, let's go have coffee. I'm right by the Stratosphere.
Okay. Yeah. Next time I'm there, we'll definitely get together.
Perfect. You're awesome.
Thank
I love you to pieces.
I love you. This was awesome. And go get Robert De Niro on your podcast.
What I should do, if I get him, I'll have you come on and I'll let him know a journalist.
I will die. I swear to God, I will die.
And we'll both Me Too him to death.
We'll be like, hey, Bob, how's it going?
How's it hanging? Better than it did 4 decades ago?
Oh!
No,
thank you so much.
We'll have a virtual threesome with Robert De Niro. Goodbye.
I'm gonna go to sleep on that one tonight. A virtual threesome with Robert De Niro. That's
See you later.
All right. Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aloha. And I will definitely look you up when I'm in Vegas.
Do that.
I shall.
Yes, please.